G'day, ZiggyD here with a bit of awesome PoE news. Last night, someone stayed late at the office to give us an early Christmas present because around 11 PM New Zealand time, a big new patch dropped with some major improvements to Metamorph and Conquerors of the Atlas. Just to help make sure everyone's on the same page and to update some minor details of previous guides I've made, I wanted to make a quick video going over some of these changes. First, there was a bunch of bug fixes, including more crash fixes. I had a lot of crashing on the first 2 days of the league, but I've had none today, and it's looking good so far. There was also some major improvements to the Conquerors fights. I'm not going to go into too much here to avoid spoilers, but notably the banners from a certain fight no longer provide immunity, which should make the influence maps from that boss and also the boss fight itself much more pleasant. ZiggyD has also fixed a lot of issues with the final boss fight, which I won't go into here, of course. Not everything about the fight is perfect yet, but if you watched the solo self-found hardcore kills and attempts, there have been a lot of issues showcased in those fights. I've attempted the final boss once so far myself and it didn't go very well, but it looks like by the time I get there again on my new character, the fight is going to be pretty polished. On the Atlas Endgame overall, most notably you can now search by region name in the map stash tab, which solves fairly well the biggest issue of trying to manage the new Atlas and locate maps to run to progress in each zone. To do this, you can just type part of the name of the region in the search box and all maps from that region will get highlighted. Fantastic. Another big change is that you can now get Conqueror taunts by running the same map over and over, rather than needing to use different maps as I covered in my guide. After the first taunt, which will be guaranteed, it's a 33% chance for the taunt to happen again in the same map each time you run it. That all said, what I recommended in my guide, running different maps, is still a better idea as it's guaranteed to result in a taunt for each different map you run, so it'll be faster overall than running the same map. But the option to chain one map is now there, which can be helpful for people farming particular maps for divination cards and things like that, whilst still allowing for some progress. The biggest news this patch, though, comes in, I don't think it's overstating it to say, a league-saving set of changes for Metamorph. Firstly, organs are now automatically picked up when you kill the monster, so you can just clear your maps and then fight the Metamorph without clicking on a couple dozen additional little item labels each map. And the implementation is really good too. You just kill them and a little label with what you got pops up briefly. It looks pretty smooth, I think. I'm just clearing maps and Tane automatically appears when I'm done clearing because I've automatically gotten the final organ. So good. But that's not all for Metamorph though. Previously each map had a set of organs that they could drop, and as you may have noticed, there weren't many eyes and livers dropping, and you may have been bottlenecked on those. This patch also changes it so that every boss can drop every organ, resulting in an even distribution of unique organs. Of course, there's still going to be a bit of RNG involved, but on the whole, on average, we should see a pretty much even distribution of these organs now, so your organ tab should soon stop looking like this, hopefully. I was already quite liking the boss killing nature, the rewards, and the player agency involved in Metamorph, and I think that with these changes, this is going to be a top tier league and it's going to be remembered quite fondly. It's really smooth and painless to engage with now, and if you look back at leagues that have been really popular in the past, like Breach, those were the same sorts of things where you just kind of ran in, the thing happened kind of automatically, and you could just do some cool combat and pick up some cool loot. I think Metamorph kind of has that, and it also has those extra Metamorph boss fights you can make in Tane's lab, which drop a ton of loot, which is always enjoyable. The only real things that need fixing now for Metamorph is the visibility issue during some of the Metamorph fights with a lot of black on black making it hard to see things, and also how crazy the ground damage over time effect scale with stacking damage mods. There's still some more stuff to improve with both the League and the new endgame for sure, but I'm pretty optimistic for future patches after this one. Overall, a really good set of changes delivered in a really timely fashion in time for the weekend, and for many people's Christmas breaks. Much love to whoever stayed up late in the office to get it done, because it came out really late New Zealand time. Anyways, that's it for the Path of Exile news for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.